Hi everyone! In this video, we are going to introduce you to the WooCommerce Product Builder and how to use these features to create a custom single product page template that beats the competition. Undoubtedly, one of the essential pages of an e-commerce website is the single product page. In fact, from the single product page are conveyed most of the purchases. Having the possibility of not being bound to preset layouts and independently create the perfect design that matches your product is a huge advantage. With Uncode, it's possible to create custom WooCommerce single product layouts and to use these layouts as a matrix for all or specific products. Setting a custom template requires the use of the unique content block feature of Uncode. In a few words, a content block is a special custom post type of Uncode that creates an external fragment of content that can be used to extend a page, or that can be used to define a portion of a template with dynamic options. For example, the footer of a website or the headers can be created with the content block. If you haven't seen the dedicated video, we invite you to check the content block tutorial. To set up a custom single product layout, please create a new content block and assign a descriptive name, such as Single Product Content. Optionally, you can also create a dedicated category, such as Product. In this way, it will be easier to organize your content block section if you plan to have several content block modules. Now that we have our content block, we can start creating the layout. We can choose to use either the schematic builder backend or the front-end editor. For this tutorial, we choose to use the front-end editor. Before starting the creation, it is important to make a premise. When you open the list of all elements, you can filter the modules that can be used on the single product, thanks to the dedicated WooCommerce Product tab. Here you will find the modules you will use most frequently when creating the single product layout. Some modules are specific to WooCommerce, while others are modules that you usually use in Page Builder to create standard pages, but enriched with special features for WooCommerce. Here are listed only modules that have a specific single product page function. Generic modules that do not have specific WooCommerce single product page functions are excluded, but can be used anyway, such as row, empty space, tabs, accordion, dividers, and many more. Of course, when we talk about custom layouts, there is not a series of defined steps to follow. In fact, the purpose of this tool is to give the creators the maximum creative capacity. Still, some modules are necessary for each product page. Let's see the most important ones. First of all, I start by inserting a row that is the base of any layouts, and I set 2 columns, so that in the first column, we will insert the images of the product, while in the second column, we will enter the textual content, such as product name and price. OK, let's add the first module. In the first column, I insert a product gallery. This module will display our product image or the product image gallery if the product has more images. Inside this module, there are different options that we can use to modify the gallery and that we will see in a moment. Let's switch on the sidebar mode to free up the workspace. Please note that while you are working with the front-end editor, the first product on creation date in your products list is used by the editor for the content block image preview. At this point, we can insert a heading module to create the name of our product. Since this content block is dynamic and we'll have to use it as a design matrix for all products, we activate the dynamic heading option and select the Get the Title value. I also apply some settings to define the semantic and to modify the font size. You see that now the heading is using the name of the content block, but after that, this heading will be populated with the specific product's name. With the same methodology, we can create the price. So I duplicate the heading module, change the value Get the Title in Get the Price, and optionally change some parameters. Now we need a text that will be used to display the product description. So I add a text block module and enable the dynamic option. Here I have 2 possibilities. use the Get the Excerpt or Description option, or use the Get the Content option. In this case, since I want to display the WooCommerce short description, I select the Get the Excerpt or Description and I set the small option. To complete the essentials, we need to classic add the Add to Cart button, and we can do it through the button module. Once inserted, also, this module has an exclusive dynamic option named Add to Cart that we can use while creating a single product page. Obviously, if necessary, we can use all the options of the button module to fine-tune its style or modify the quantity style. Here we are. We have the primary elements for our layout and all in just a few clicks. Now that we have the fundamentals, we can add more complementary elements for our single product page. For example, we can insert the product rating element, thanks to which it is possible to show the user's rate. I drag this module from the last position to the top. This is just an aesthetic modification, and just because I prefer in this position as information hierarchy. We can add a wishlist button. The wishlist is one of the most powerful and popular tools in an e-commerce shop. It allows your customers to create lists of products they want and share them with family and friends. Please note that this module is visible if the Yith wishlist plugin is active. Finally, I insert a divider module and a share module. Here is the divider module that will separate the content from the share module. And here is the share module, thanks to which you can share our products on different socials. Perfect, that is. Our basic layout is finished. Now, I'm going to make some small but significant changes to our row and columns container to make this layout more particular. For example, I make the row full width. I remove the paddings so that the image touches the edges, and I remove the space between the columns. Naturally, all these options are explained in dedicated video tutorials, so that I don't dwell on these settings. Now I open the settings of the second column, and I insert a maximum width for the content, about 500 pixels. I make the content centered, and I insert a padding. I also navigate to the Extra tab, and I make this column sticky to lock it to the top when the users scroll. Finally, I changed the style of the button to fluid. Here we go. We have completed the top part of the layout, and it seems fascinating. Before completing the page with other modules, we can test the functionality and finally see this dynamic layout applied to our products in action. Let's open some product single pages first. 3 products are enough to understand. As you can see, they're currently using the default layout. To apply our new custom layout, we just have to connect the dynamic content block to the single product template via the theme options. So I open the theme options. As personal workflow, I prefer to have the theme options as first tab on left. Now please navigate to the theme options, product, content, and connect our created content block. So, in the content block dropdown, I select the single product content block, I save the theme options, and we can test our custom design in action. Right now, the single product page template is using the default template. So I refresh our products to test our new layout. Here we are. In a few minutes, we have created a dynamic, unique, and customized layout just using the page builder. This is something that would normally take days of lead developer development to create. As you can see, thanks to the dynamic options, we have a centralized custom layout that is used by each product as a design matrix. And of course, everything is dynamic. from the images used to the title, the price, and the metadata. The Product Builder also allows you to adjust and modify your options at any time to meet the needs of your market, of your customers, or your clients, or to perform A/B performance tests that can increase the turnover of your e-commerce website. For example, I can now modify the layout. Currently, we are using the default carousel layout. As you can see with this wide layout, the gallery navigation is not very practical because I can't see the image I change. In a few words, I need to scroll up and down. So I just need to go to our content block and in the Product Gallery module, set the stack option. Let's save the module settings and let's save the content block. Now we can refresh our testing page. As you can see now, the product page is using the new settings and we have a modern stack layout that matches very well with the product type. I wonder if this change will increase conversions as well. With the Uncode Product Builder, we can find out easily, since it's possible to make these changes in real time without touching a single line of code. Let's complete the layout by adding a row of content for the main description and a related products row. To not distract us too much from the Product Builder, I've already prepared these sections. In the first row, we have a tab module. In the first tab, I inserted a text block module to create the product main description. This time I have set the dynamic option to get the content. In this way, this text will be populated with the long description of the product. In the second tab, I inserted a products review module to display the customer reviews. In the second section, I inserted a heading module to identify the related products section. Inside the row, I inserted a post module with carousel options. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch the video tutorials dedicated to the post module, because it is one of the most powerful modules of Uncode, with which you can create an impressive number of layouts from any kind of grid to carousels. What is important to note here is the dynamic query option and the dynamic query type set to related. In this way, the post module will display dynamically for each product the related products. Related products can increase conversions by showing your customers possible similar products. Now we just have to save the changes and preview our new sections. Page refresh. Perfect! We have extended our layout with two new sections, the tab section with the dynamic long description and the reviews. And below, to close the page, the dynamic related product section from where users can easily navigate to other related products. Actually, we have built the whole layout within a single content block connected to the template through the Content Block option. If I want to create a more organized structure, you can divide this design into different content blocks and connect them to the relative part of the template. For example, I can insert the first part of the design in a dedicated content block header and move the related products in its dedicated content block too. Please don't underestimate this option. This way, you can design one section at a time. It becomes easier to make changes, and so perform performance tests based on different designs. Let's see how to do it. Let's navigate to our content block, and I switch to the backend editor mode. I create a new content block for the header and a new content block for related posts. I give them descriptive names like single product header and single product related, and optionally, I apply the relative categories. I repeat the steps from the second content block dedicated to related posts. I insert a descriptive title, and optionally, I add some categories. Within each of these, I copy the respective rows using the clipboard options and I delete the row from the original content block that is now dedicated only to the content part of the page. So I copy the first row and I paste it in the header content block. And obviously I save the content block. I copy the related row. Let's save this content block so now it only has the section dedicated to the content part. Now I can paste the related row in the related dedicated content block, and I save the content block. Perfect. We have 3 content blocks where in each of them we have inserted only one section of content dedicated to a specific function. Now we just need to connect them to the template. I associate the single product header to the header section. Here I also remove the content padding to move the content below the menu, and I connect the single product related to the related section. Let's save the theme options. Page refresh. Perfect. We have our layout even if technically in the backend it's split in 3 different blocks. Please note that since we are now using a real header, we also have special functions reserved for headers, such as the menu transparency. With this structured method, every possible modification or test we want to do involves only the editing of a particular content block. Moreover, you could, for example, prepare different versions of the header, the content, or of the related product section and perform straightforward A/B tests just by switching in the theme options a possible different design you want to test. This is very useful for an e-commerce website to check which design works best for your site. Before concluding, we remind you that in the Wireframes plugin you can find examples of single product page ready to be imported and used. Do you want to try a different layout? For example, let's delete our content and import one of the wireframes. I open the Wireframes plugin and I select one of the layouts in the product category. This one looks perfect. That's it. Let's save the content block and go to refresh our pages to see how they have been modified. Page refresh. Our new layout is ready and applied to all our products. What a change we made with just a few clicks. It would have taken days of code development without these unique Uncode features. Now we have a columns layout with product images and a carousel with lightbox too. And obviously, the layout is applied to all products of our store. We want to try another one. Let's go. As before, I access the content block and I delete all the contents. This time we have 2 rows to be deleted. The first section with a product gallery and product information, and the related products row. I open the wireframes, I navigate to the products category and I select a layout. Let me see this one. OK, it looks creative and eye-catching. I save the content block, and I refresh the product change to enjoy the new layout. What a change! This looks amazing for this product. As you can see, the layout is now used as dynamic matrix for all the products. Are you ready to start using Uncode's revolutionary product builder to create incredible product pages? Thanks to the Uncode Product Builder, you can create the perfect layout for every kind of product. Create your unique shop experience visually and without coding, and hook your clients better than the competition.